I was elbow-deep in spaghetti when my two aunts barged in like they were fleeing a crime scene, waving a glowing alien phone and yelling, "We need your help seducing a prince!" I blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" Cheryl slapped the phone on the table. "The fate of Earth depends on us getting laid, sweetie," Margie added. "By an alien emperor. No pressure." I dropped the spaghetti. Apparently, Earth was unknowingly part of some intergalactic reality dating show. The Galactic Mate-Off. Our species had been voted the least desirable in 3 galaxies. To keep Earth from being liquidated due to unbreedability, an alien emperor named Rekthul the Tempted demanded a mate from Earth. A passionate, exotic, organic partner. Our government, brilliantly, crowdsourced volunteers. Naturally, my 2 bats-hit aunts signed up and got shortlisted. Now they needed a tech-savvy, youthful essence to help close the deal. I asked, "Why not just say no?" "Because, darling," said Cheryl, "Rekthul has tentacles that glow during climax and can rearrange your furniture telepathically. And Earth explodes if we ghost him," Margie added cheerfully. So I became their galactic dating app coach. The app looked like Tinder merged with alien Craigslist. Rekthul's profile featured war trophies, planetary burns, and a shirtless pic of him straddling a hover beast. Cheryl whispered, "I like him. He looks like he could bench press regret." We had to make them look desirable. But let's face it, my aunts were Earth MILFs, not nebula-hopping nymphs. I started by giving them digital makeovers, hyperlight filters, synthetic pheromone boosts, and a personality scan that auto-tuned their bios to aggressively sensual diplomat. Cheryl's original bio said, "I make a mean banana bread and I bite." Margie said, "I've never been arrested but I've been escorted out of several interplanetary casinos." We kept those. For photos, I used a hologram enhancer that auto-corrected posture and subtly removed knee pain. They posed with cats, swords, and an inflatable moon behind them. Cheryl insisted on showing some cleavage. For strategic diplomacy. Margie tried to lick the camera. Rekthul matched instantly? I asked. "Are we sure he's not a bot?" Then he messaged, "Your scent disrupts my conquest protocols. I crave alliance." Margie squealed like a teenager. Cheryl turned pink. Then came flirting. The ants were not subtle. Cheryl opened with, "Want to show me your war hammer?" Rekthul responded, "My hammer pulses with planetary desire." Margie followed up with, "Bet you've never had human before. We taste like rebellion and bacon." I was dying inside, but also fascinated. Rekthul was into it. Very into it. He replied with detailed descriptions of his species' mating rituals, which involved 3 tongues, 1 psychic link, and something called the spiral of mirth. Cheryl asked, "Is that like edging?" I pretended to be dead. We worked out a daily flirting routine. Morning messages, afternoon booty holograms, nighttime voice chats. I had to do most of the typing because they were terrible with alien emoji grammar. A misplaced symbol could turn, "You look hot," into, "I want to crush your offspring." Margie did that twice. I had to translate their thoughts into seductive alien poetry. Margie, "Tell him I want to ride his face like a comet." Me, "My lady seeks to orbit your core until our gravity melts the stars." Rekthul replied, "Your species excites my void." Meanwhile, I built a translator and a pheromone injector to simulate the scent of human lust mixed with cinnamon rolls. It backfired. My room smelled like horny space Cinnabon for 3 days. They began rehearsing alien mating dance moves. Cheryl twerked. Margie tried to do a back bend and farted so loud Rekthul asked if it was a mating call. The worst part? I started rooting for them. Like, genuinely. They were trying, weirdly vulnerable, and hilariously thirsty. They didn't want the power or fame. They just wanted to be chosen. For once. Then Rekthul proposed a visual communion. A live video chat. Cue collective panic. Margie, "I haven't been on video since the 2009 yoga incident." Cheryl, Do I look like someone who can flirt through 3 camera angles? I rigged a live translator, auto-beautification filters, and a delay system to filter out their weirder comments. I hid behind the couch, controlling everything while they sat front and center like 2 space pageant queens. Rekthal appeared. Glowing. Majestic. Slightly slimy. His first words? I hunger for your emissions. Cheryl blinked. You mean like sweat? Margie. Or like feelings? I typed. We offer emotional emissions. Deep, passionate vulnerability. He smiled. A glowing tentacle caressed the screen. Then let us begin, phase 1 of the joining. Cheryl whispered to me. What's phase 1? I whispered back. Flirt harder. And so began Earth's most uncomfortable alien courtship. I woke up to Aunt Cheryl practicing alien dirty talk in the mirror while Margie attempted to twerk with a pulled hamstring. The house smelled like garlic, lavender, and mild panic. Rekthal had started sending nightly mating poems, which were less romantic and more aggressively anatomical. His last message, I dream of coating your thorax in my ancestral nectar. Cheryl thought it was sweet. Margie printed it out and framed it. I tried to teach them how to respond with equal intensity. But how do you sext an emperor who has 4 genders and thinks consensual dismemberment is a love language? They needed alien flirting coaching, fast. I downloaded every pheromone-based emoji set from the black market. I also bootlegged a galactic sex translator, but it translated, I want you, into, I claim your lineage for conquest. Not helpful. Margie's first attempt at a sexy message was, my orifices are open to negotiation. Rekthal responded instantly, you will bear my conquest eggs. I choked on my energy drink. He thinks you're trying to get pregnant with galactic heirs. Cheryl clapped. That's the most action I've had since '82. I begged them to let me handle the sexting. They agreed, but only if they could give input. Cheryl wanted me to describe her scent as cinnamon danger. Margie wanted to be referred to as Queen of Moisture. I typed, our bodies radiate rebellion. Our lips drip with forbidden nectar. Earth welcomes your invasion. Rekthal sent back a pulsating video of him moaning through 17 mouths. I wanted to delete my existence. Worse, Rekthal started sending gifs. Alien roses that screamed when touched. A holographic thong that could phase through skin. A jar of something labeled lubricant/sentient companion. Cheryl used it as a neck massage jelly. It moaned when she rubbed it. Meanwhile, I had to teach them how to dance the Zarthian mating ritual. It required pelvic thrusts in 0 gravity and synchronized vocal moans. We tried practicing on a trampoline, but Margie sprained her knee again and Cheryl got stuck mid-thrust. They asked if they could skip the dancing and just flash him. No, I said. We have to make him fall in love, not just horny. Cheryl winked. Same thing, sweetie. The emotional bonding phase began. Rekthal wanted to know their greatest traumas and fantasies. Margie confessed she once got banned from a cruise ship for seducing the magician. Cheryl admitted she briefly joined a nudist commune in Arizona. I edited heavily. Rekthal shared that he had once tried monogamy, but the female exploded during climax due to incompatible core temperatures. Margie said, hot. They started asking me things like, what's a good alien pet name? I suggested, Star Sugar, or Void Daddy. They picked Tentacle Poppy. One night, I walked in on them watching alien porn for research. It looked like interpretive dance mixed with violent origami. Cheryl was taking notes. Margie asked if I could download her an Interstellar but Lift program. I pretended to pass out. Then came the request for nudes. Rekthal wanted to see earthly flesh in its proudest form. Margie started undressing. Stop, I shouted. We'll use holograms. Artistic lighting. Soft curves. Nothing that'll make him detonate. I used deepfake tech to combine their best angles, contour their wrinkles into galactic hieroglyphs, and add a faint glow to their skin. The result was mildly erotic and vaguely religious. We send it. He responded with a hologram of his thorax pulsating to romantic music made of screams. Cheryl said, "That's the sexiest thing I've ever seen." The pressure escalated. Rechthel began hinting at a confluence of essence, which, translated loosely, meant alien foreplay through shared hallucination. To prep, I had to inject them with microdoses of safe psionic stimuli so they could survive the experience. Margie's trip involved seeing Jesus on a flaming skateboard. Cheryl said she saw her first ex-husband crying in a jar. Both said they were ready. I wasn't. I was having nightly anxiety dreams about intergalactic birth control and getting labeled as the nephew of galactic whores. But the ants were thriving. Cheryl had started wearing lingerie again, over her pajamas, but it was a start. Margie kept practicing dirty talk in Klingon. Then Rechthel sent a message. "I am ready for physical fusion. Send coordinates." They screamed. I screamed. The world was ending, or climaxing. Same thing. We had to prep for a royal alien date. But first, they insisted on one last lesson in seductive language. Margie said, "Teach me how to say, 'You make me wetter than Neptune's rings.'" Cheryl added, "And how to ask if he likes it when we nibble the antenna." I realized then, I'd created monsters. Horny, fearless, chaos-generating monsters. And they were Earth's only hope. The day Rechthel confirmed his arrival, I aged 10 years and 30 seconds. He wanted a dinner date. In person. On Earth. With both of them. The phrase physical fusion was used again, along with something called a courtship ooze bath. I didn't ask. Cheryl decided to wear a red dress that had last seen action during the Reagan administration. Margie showed up in a latex jumpsuit and heels with spikes. Literal spikes. She called it battle-ready couture. I called it a lawsuit waiting to happen. We had less than 48 hours to prepare. I created a scent diffuser that simulated human arousal blended with citrus. Rechthel's species found citrus erotic. Cheryl smelled like a horny orange. Margie just smelled like fear and Chanel No. 5. They practiced alien etiquette using flashcards. Don't stab the guest during introductions. Only bow if his tentacles are extended. Avoid eye contact with the secondary mouth. Cheryl nailed it. Margie kept trying to wink at his antenna port. I set up the dining area with mood lighting and a zero-gravity cushion. Rechthel hated chairs. We placed candles shaped like miniature planets. I cooked something that looked vaguely like food and absolutely like a bribe. They made me create a playlist of galactic moaning rhythms. It sounded like whales in a blender. Then Rechthel arrived. 7 feet tall. Luminous. Slightly moist. He hovered more than walked. His voice vibrated through your sternum and made your nipples hard out of sheer respect. He looked at Cheryl and Margie like they were the last pair of edible humans in a buffet line. He spoke. "You radiate fertility." "I ache," Margie whispered. "Told you the jumpsuit was a good call." Cheryl greeted him with, "Would you like something to drink, or do you absorb your fluids through osmosis?" Rechthel smiled, or did something that looked like smiling. "Yes." Dinner began. The conversation quickly descended into romantic chaos. Rechthel complimented Margie's eye sacs. She corrected him. He offered to telepathically braid Cheryl's pleasure memories. She asked if that would affect her taxes. Then he dropped the bomb. "In my culture, the courting ritual culminates with the presence of a third essence. A bonding triad. A sacred triangle of trust and release." They nodded. He looked at me. I choked on my fake wine. "You," he said. "The one who guides them. The catalyst." "No," I said. "Absolutely not. I'm the IT guy." Cheryl tried to negotiate. "Can he just be, like, emotionally present?" Rechthel shook his entire upper body. "He must witness. Participate. Bless the union," Margie said. "I mean, you've already written our sexts, seen the porn, and built the translator. This feels like the natural next step." I stared at them. "You want me to third wheel your space sex for world peace?" Cheryl raised an eyebrow. Technically, it'd be 4 wheels. Tentacles count. I considered faking a seizure. I also considered just letting Earth explode. Rekthal stepped closer. If you deny me, I will withdraw. Earth will perish. But if you join, I will make you my Earth brother. Your lineage shall never pay taxes again. That one stung. Margie said. Look, we don't have to do anything weird. Just stand in the corner and chant affirmations while we get oozed on. I said nothing. Then Cheryl added, Remember that time we let you live in our basement rent-free for 6 months? I agreed. They led Rekthal to the fusion chamber, which used to be my aunt's craft room, and I sat outside with a headset and a nose plug, listening to wet noises and the occasional scream of joy or confusion. I kept whispering, You're doing great, you intergalactic cougar queens. Halfway through, Rekthal called out, Catalyst, the bond weakens. We need more human intimacy. Margie yelled, Say something emotional. So I did. I spoke into the mic. Earth is chaotic. Loud. Messy. But it's real. We don't always know what we're doing, but when we love, we throw everything into it, body, soul, and sometimes bad decisions. That's what makes us worth saving. There was silence. Then a loud, satisfying squelch. Followed by Rekthal saying, Essence secured. Bond complete. I had no idea what just happened, but I was 90% sure I'd just saved the planet by emotionally edging an alien emperor. Cheryl came out looking radiant. Margie limped but gave me a thumbs up. Rekthal handed me a glowing orb. Your essence has been catalogued for galactic preservation. May your DNA spread with honor. I asked, Is this a compliment? He replied, You are now royalty. Long live the catalyst. And then he vanished in a puff of pheromones and sparkles. I stood in silence, covered in interstellar glitter, wondering how to explain this to my therapist. I became a global icon for something I never wanted to be known for. The media called me Earth's matchmaker. The alien press dubbed me Catalyst of the Wet Union. Overnight, I went from underemployed tech guy to galactic celebrity. And it all started because my 2 aunts wanted to get laid by a space emperor. Cheryl and Margie were now considered mothers of peace. They did a podcast about interspecies romance. Rekthal returned to his empire with a new outlook on human sexuality, and 2 Earth MILFs as his official soul-bonded partners. They sent me a postcard from a lava resort. It was signed in pheromones. Turns out, our awkward, horny attempt to seduce an alien tyrant changed everything. Rekthal passed a decree that Earth was now a galactic pleasure preserve, no conquest allowed. Apparently our raw emotional honesty and chaotic seduction rituals were deemed too rare to lose. Humanity was safe because 2 middle-aged women knew how to flirt like their lives depended on it. And me? I couldn't walk down the street without getting recognized. Aliens started sending me nudes. Literal holographic nudes. I got proposals from 3 Venusian priestesses and 1 sentient gas cloud named Blorbet. I declined politely. Mostly. My inbox was full of requests. Some wanted dating advice, others wanted to know my sacred techniques. One guy asked if I'd ghostwrite his sex to a Martian dominatrix. I charged him triple. Word got around. Eventually, I opened a consulting firm, Lovecraft Interstellar, Romance Solutions for Hopeless Species. My tagline? We don't guarantee orgasms. We guarantee survival. Business boomed. One night, I was sitting in my kitchen, eating leftover spaghetti, when a government agent appeared with a contract. They wanted me to coach the next round of Earth seducers. Apparently, intergalactic dating had become a diplomatic strategy. Sex as policy. Romance as warfare. I laughed, wiped tomato sauce off my chin, and asked, Do I get hazard pay? He nodded. Fine, I said. But this time, I'm not doing pheromone management. That's where I draw the line. Still, the weirdest part wasn't the fame, or the offers, or the fact that aliens now used my texts in seduction schools. It was the moment I realized that, for once in their lives, my aunts had found something they truly loved. Not just Rekthal, though his glowing tentacles probably helped, but the adventure, the chaos, the absurdity. They weren't just flirty old ladies anymore. They were legends. Cheryl sent me a hollow message once. "Sweetie, I never thought I'd be the one to save Earth with my cleavage. But here we are." Margie followed up with, "Tell your next client to moisturize early and never underestimate the power of confidence and a little ass." I missed them. Rekthal offered to make me a galactic ambassador, but I declined. I'd had enough of the spotlight. Plus, my dating life on Earth had gotten complicated. Every girl I talked to wanted to know what the catalyst was like in bed. Some asked if I had tentacles. One brought a jar of ooze on the first date. I wasn't ready. Still, I had a new appreciation for what connection meant, what it could do. It wasn't just about saving the planet. It was about vulnerability, about risking humiliation for something bigger than yourself. Even if that something was intergalactic intercourse. I started writing a book. Title: How to Seduce a Galactic Warlord Without Losing Your Soul or Sanity. Chapter 1: Don't let your aunts start the mission without supervision. Meanwhile, Earth thrived. We became a tourist hotspot for alien seeking, emotional unpredictability, and organic kink. I got a thank you note from a human-alien couple who bonded over a mutual love of Earth's sarcasm. Their wedding invitation included a slime-resistant suit. And even though I never wanted to be involved in any of this, deep down, I was proud. Not just of myself, but of Cheryl, Margie, and every horny earthling who refused to be boring. Final message from Rekthal came encoded in scent and light. Catalyst, may your lineage remain potent. Your planet moans with pride. The stars blush in your honor. I didn't know what to say. So I just whispered, "You're welcome." And then I blocked his number.